But what I would like to do is introduce our topic tonight and our presenter. And then I'll ask everybody to stick around for the afterglow afterwards. And while the presentation's going on, if everybody could think of a topic they would like to see, or several topics that they would like to see the Photo SIG talk about, and think about if whether or not maybe you have a topic that you would like to present to the Photo SIG. So think about that, and when we get to the afterglow, we can cover that. So at this point, I'm going to introduce Frank Salvatini. And tonight we're going to have, Frank's going to do a presentation on Topaz software. And he's going to do a demonstration of, he's going to talk about the Topaz software in general, their different products. And then he'll do a demo on Studio 2. And then some quick demos on the individual products, a couple of them, right, Frank?
Yeah, pretty much we're going to go that way. I'm going to start out though with, I'll go to the website so you guys can see the address and everything else. And the one thing that's really, I think, for those of you who don't have this software, what is important is that you get it, you can do a free trial type for you to, let me see where it is. Try it for free is on the website for their stuff, for Studio 2, for the other things, gigapixel and all the other individual types of filters that they have. So let me start out. I'll share my screen there. Okay, everybody on?
Yep.
This is the, let's go here. Although does this screw it up? No. Okay, so let's go to, this is they call it the future of creative photo editing. But the important piece is that the software Studio 2 is devoted entirely to creative photo post-processing. Okay, there are tools to do a processing of photos, kind of like Photos does in its edit mode, or any of the other stuff does to get clearer pictures for or better pictures for especially the pros. Lightroom does it. But with Studio 2, you can really, for me, you know what? Honestly, Studio 2 is one of the most fun toys I have to play with. And what you can do in photography by playing produces some unbelievable results. And that's what impressed me a lot about Studio 2. It is worth 99 bucks, but there was a discount, and I don't know if it's, well, it's probably over since they're not advertising it, but I'll show you how it works and what it is. And it's primarily a series of adjustment filters that you can work on, as you're seeing him do on the website. It's a series of filters that will allow you to adjust the image to be, as I like in Visioneering, something else. It's also really capable of telling the story of the photograph that you want. And I'll show you a little bit about that. So without further ado,
Frank, did you want to show off the other, or at least talk about general, their other packages right now? Just
show them what they have? Yeah, we could do that.
As long as you're
although
on the
I'm
website.
at Topaz Studio, let me go back to
Topaz Labs, yeah.
Topaz Labs. Try it for free. And photo enhancement, gigapixel AI. I'm debating whether I should just show you something from it, but AI, I found gigapixel AI Photoshop is a pain in the neck when it comes to enlarging a picture. It's got all of these pieces and you can't really, you know, you don't really get what you expect when you enlarge a picture in Photoshop. There's still, I think, tracks and little glitches in it that I didn't like at all. But Gigapixel is basically the enlargement program that they left up to Skynet to do. You do nothing. Okay, you put the picture in, tell it how much you want, how many times bigger than it is that you want, and it'll do. Yeah, I should probably show you.
No, later, Frank. Just
Well, you know,
introduce the individual packages and
yeah.
then move on to Studio.
Okay. So they have Gigapixel. And where else did they got? No, they're not doing it on this page, are they? Oh, that's right, because I got to go to products. Okay, here's Gigapixel. You notice these are full-fledged programs. And by the way, for those of you who are in the video photo SIG, they have a video enhance AI that does some really great stuff to videos. Masks, the mask, and the reason that that's there is because the mask AI takes those tiny little spaces of background in hair or some, you know, animal whiskers or however that, and they do a fantastic job of eliminating the background from the little tiny holes up in here that you might want to figure out how the heck do you get to those. So Mask AI is great. Adjust AI is primarily like a souped up Lightroom adjustment program. JPEG to RAW, it converts JPEG to RAW. That's all it does. And frankly, I think with the things that Apple's doing now with RAW, or what is the new one, RAW something?
ProRAW.
ProRAW, that I haven't bought this one. And then of course there's Studio 2. So we're going to take a look at some of these later, but let me get into the star of the show. Okay, don't do that. All right. And we'll do the star of the show, which is Topaz Studio. Studio 2. And when you open it up, you're going to have a minute tutorial of what you do. How you open an image, then you apply a filter or filters, and then you apply a look if you want to. Now, they call it a look, but let me tell you what it actually is. It's people who have fooled with combinations of filters that they save as a preset. So add a look means add a preset. And you can see some of the interesting effects that it does. Close. Okay, I am going to open recent. Which one did I do there? I think it was Topaz 2. Nope, that wasn't it. That wasn't it. You know what it was? It was this one. Actually, I opened Topaz with double clicking here. And all right. Okay, open an image or product. And it is, there it is. Okay. So now this is a photo I took. I think it was Lake Michigan. a while back, but it's sort of a, it's a decent. If we're on a 1:4 or 1:5 ratio rating for it, I'd put it at maybe about 2.5 to 3. It's okay. Now, one of the things is if there are artifacts or anything like that in there, you can clear it. And so if you look at closely, when I put that in there, a clear, you don't see much difference, do you? A little bit of sharpness in the boats happens when you use AI clear. Now, that's a layer. The way the layer works, let's do this. Okay, cancel that.
Click on add a filter.
Yeah, I want to show you the list of filters that they have here. You can do a whole bunch of things with this, like make something black and white. It turns it black and white, but I don't want to do that. Or if you want to, there's not much haze in this, or color tuning with HSL. That's kind of interesting. Not only can you do the all colors type of things, but you can take, there's a lot of blue in this. And this sort of shows you the degree to which you can heighten. Blue goes to green, saturating the blue, etc. You can do all of that with that single filter. I don't want that either. There are creative filters that are really what I thrive on, creative and stylistic. Edge exposure. If we do an edge exposure filter, and again, all of these are off, so I'm working with the basic photograph. And if we do the edge exposure, what it does is it sort of destroys left or right. This is the left exposure sort of, but it's editing out the right. And you can make some different types of transitions that way. And you can go up, down, other way, and do those, blah, 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 for very vivid vignetting. Don't want that either. So, so with the creatives, you can do film grain, you can put text in, you can do a real vignette, and different types of stuff with the creative piece for the photograph. The abstraction becomes kind of interesting. If I simplify it, it takes away detail. And you may have a nice little sketch that you could lie and say you painted yourself. Feature boost will turn up, well, we should probably feature boost and then turn that down. And the detail strength. Now you see what we're doing? It's okay. It's an entirely different image than the one I shot. In the other ones, we have, let's say, glow. In glow, the primary, nothing, it defaults to none, but once it starts putting it up, it makes it a sort of haze with a glow. And then if I electrify it, I can do some weird stuff with it that way. So the point being that all of these are layers on top of layers. And just like Photoshop, We also have the modes, the blend modes, in the same order that Photoshop has them, I might add. So you can multiply that, which that kind of looks really good to me. You can screen it, lighten or screen it. You can overlay that layer on top of the picture with the effects that we did with glow. So, just scroll down. It's very, very fast on my iMac Pro. Hard light, soft light, vivid light, linear, pin. I don't know if most people, I'm hoping, are familiar with these kinds of layer blends that you can do. And then if you want, you can quit. So what I'll show you how what I did with sailing ships, I did this for this demonstration, is first of all, if you can see this is the plain photo I took, and that's the clear one that punched up the detail in the boats. Now there's a basic adjustment I did here. Notice the difference? It's an adjustment that is even throughout the detail of the photo. So I lift that on. Now those two are going on, the clear and the adjustment are going on. And the way I did adjustment, I did it with a multiply. If I did it with a normal, it wouldn't look anywhere different than the other. Okay. Multiply really helps it out. The next thing I did is the brightness and contrast filter. And I adjusted clarity. I dropped the highlights and just left the shadows alone because God knows it's dark enough. You can lighten it up a little with shadows, but it's fine. And clarity, I bring it up all the way versus what I had it at. I don't know if you can see the difference on there or not. And that also is multiply. Then we go to bloom. That puts a little bit of a vignette in. And I have the strength up high, lower. See, it's very subtle. A lot of these adjustments are doing the small incremental piece that you need to get a look that really appeals to you. The threshold is all the way up. Taking it down doesn't do much. And the bloom size is full or none. It's just subtle. I have that multiplying, and that would be normal. I might like a color burn. Okay, so now let's go to color theme. You can change the whole thing with the color themes. You can, and every one of them right here, you can, that's the image we just last saw before color theme. That's the color theme at 100 on normal. So you can do something like make it a little less opacity and then do a multiply with it. And then bring it down and adjust that intermixing of the layers a lot better. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to come back up here. Now, when I was suggested that you can also tell a story. What we could do with this is the motion blur. And with motion blur, you can do some strange things. And if this was a race, we could make that a race. We could have the zoom intensity go really crazy or subtle enough just to make it, well, crazy and opacity to where you think the streaks are telling the story for you. Okay. Then we can do an abstract. Now, abstraction's a very interesting little, that does a simplify as we saw before. And a feature boost. Nah, not too much. And a detail strength down a little bit. Okay, so that, now, I would probably prefer okay, I need to have the motion blur more intense. Let's go do it. There we go.
Yeah, Frank, one thing you want to point out about all these filters is that they're non-destructive. So as you apply them, you can go back and modify any one of the filters.
At any time. That's, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hoping to show is this is non-destructive editing because at the end, this sailing ships 2 is locked. You see the little, oh, you know what I ought to do is, where is that stupid thing? Try to toggle it on. Okay, it's locked right there. And what you're doing to it to create the effects that you're getting out of this is you're putting filters on layers that can be adjusted, like I did with the motion blur. And, you know, I could also, when it becomes a hand, take it all the way up here or down here. Yeah, that's interesting. So this is what I mean by play, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is playing. I have a great time with this. Now here comes remix.
I got a question. Can you, suppose you put on 3 filters and then you want to adjust the very first one you applied, can you do it, or do you have that, just do that one, or do you have to go back to that filter, taking off the 2 you applied afterwards?
Any filter, anytime can be adjusted. Okay. What I did is I don't know what we call it, an eye, the eye. I made sure all the eyes are closed so that we have the image of the ship, but I can at any time, I can go back to brightness and contrast and say, all right, let me see what happens if I increase the brightness. Not too much. And by the way, oh, yes, there, it took a while. You can go to the original and see what you're doing with that. Does that make sense, Susan? Anytime,
Yes, it does.
anywhere, it'll always put the adjustment tools below the layer of window. So the last one is edges. You know, I don't know if I like the remix at this point. Oh, no, that's the remix. Where was I? Oh, okay. Edges. I screwed these up. I lost the order. Okay. Here's edges. And by the way, I don't know if I like the remix. Okay. I might keep that off. The thing I wanted to show you about remix is, see these, hang on, because it's taking a while. Some stuff takes a while to really come up. There we go. And I'm up here. Now you see for opacity. Now, if I did normal, that would look a little garish, but overlay adds a sort of texture to it that may or may not be something you're interested in seeing. Soft light, hard mix. difference. I don't use a lot of these, although they do produce effects that are and then you can do just luminosity itself. So I would just do lighten on this one, I think. And they're different. Okay, that puts a different type of pattern to it. Now here the streaks are showing better with this texture overlaying it. And they have quite a few in Topaz Studio too. These are defaults. There's also add-ons and things you could eventually get, but I got enough to last me my life. Yeah. So, okay, and that's the remix. The edges, you can't even see them. See the edges, what it's done to the ships? All of these are done with the edge piece. And then glow. Now let me turn off the remix and look at the glow. Now you see they're not 34 hundredths of strength to do that. Full glow gives you the glow around the difference in colors. Okay, primary effect sharpness I have up a lot. And electrify not so much because it gets a little hairy if you go too far. And simplification is, as you know, what that is from before. And your primary edge color is blue. So anyway, and then you can mess around with detail strength. Detail size, I maybe increase that to about 2/10. And then impression. What did impression do? Made it impressionistic painting. And I say that literally because here are the brushes that made that painting. Watch. You put strokes in there, and I think what we had originally was done with that kind of a brush. If we do that kind of a brush, it looks a little bit sloppier, but and that's impression. So that is how Topaz Studio works. I hope I can stimulate, some excitement for you and at looking at what you can possibly do just with this half of software. Let me do this thing now. I'm going to get rid of it. And I talked to the Topaz people, and what I wanted to have happen was to have them pull some sort of click button or something, so I can take all of these layers and delete them at one stroke, but that's not to happen. So I'm going to just dump them. And all we're going to have is the locked movie or the locked picture. And there's our picture. Okay. So you've seen the dynamics of adding filters. Check out adding looks, and please be patient while we look at what the presets look like and what they'll do to your picture. And also the presets have the set that you can mess with, save, and add the look. So it'll come and save the preset, save the look. So I'm going to look at all the categories, which are all of these, and take a little time to read those things. You can do vintage. Oh, there's no looks associated with vintage. Thank you. Okay. How about abstract? Okay, abstract, that's a fun little set of presets. You can turn that into a psychedelic, cartoon, cartoon natural. Oh, and see, you can apply it, but before you do, you can decide how much of an amount. There's the original photo you want with that. And I kind of like these abstract ones. Artistic. These are some presets for artistic. Happy little trees. What'll that do? What'll this do? Okay, that's sort of interesting. It's detailed. It's rich in the way it looks. And then let's see, let's do, okay, we're not going to do any of them. Let's go to AI Remix and see what it does. All right, so we just applied, oh my God, is that really, I think Skynet is beginning to become self-aware and it's angry. Charcoal sketchbook, that's all we have for AI Remix. Okay, how about edges? Okay, now let me just apply this. See what happens? You get all, well, these are the ones that are shown. And this is how they made that preset. They had these layers from the filters and they did things to them. And you can do other things to them. Nah. And so on. I don't think we've got time enough. It's been 33 minutes, so I don't think we have time enough for every filter and every thing to do. I just hope I've given you enough to see what the process is and to see how neat the outcomes can be for even the crappiest or most bland photograph you've ever taken. You can make it into something that's very exciting, or you can make it and tell a story with it with a variety of those filters. You can have a sunset where there was none. You can have all of those types of items. So add the look. And that's what we
Show
get.
us how to add a sunset in there?
Pardon me?
Did you show us how to add a sunset?
No, I mean, I didn't do that. I do that with color. Let me see if I added a sunset. I don't know if I can do that with a look. Let's see what we have here. Let's do colorful. Oh, man. I haven't done all of them, but really? Something's wrong. I should have more looks. I'm not sure what's going on with that because, and this look. Okay. Let's dump it all. See what we get.
Frank, I don't know if there was an actual way within Topaz Studio to like throw in another object, like a sun in this off in the corner. with
Well,
the
they're
sunset.
working on, they're going to have skies
Okay,
that are automatically going to look at the horizons and give you a variety of looks for skies.
okay.
And see this, my looks, I don't think I have one. I didn't save one yet. But my looks has the skies. And
They'll probably have sunset skies and skies with.
yes,
moons in it and
exactly.
Stuff like that, yeah.
If something happened with my fun. Huh. What was fun? Eh. Don't apply that. Oh, I see.
So for
Never-
now, if you wanted to, Marcia, to kind of answer your question, to put a sunset in here at this moment, you could
Well,
take a modified picture out of here and do a composite in another application such as Photoshop and composite
Well,
in a sun.
yeah, you can. What you can do, let's see, let's take this and apply it. See this? This is a mask.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you're all familiar with working with masks, but if I took a brush and let me turn this off. I took a brush and everything is white. What I'd want to do is mask out the areas, and you can check the radius of the brush. So I'm not going to be careful with this, but I can mask this out. To be oh, see, I told you, I'm having trouble. It's forcing me to go from Catalina to Big Sur, I think. Okay. If I were to, I'm looking at a sunset with this thing here. Anything in there? Oh yeah, million static. Yeah, that's this one here. Apply. Okay, everything's off. Remix is off. That's off. Details off. All right, so Mayan static. Oh, I'm sorry. These have to be on. Precision detail. And this is the power bar. It's going slow for that. Yeah. Let me look at this and see.
Maybe could you search and see if it say, ask it to add a sunset or something?
No, the only best thing I can do is find something that looks like that and then take the main object of the picture, mask it out so that the effect doesn't hit it. That's what the masking will do.
Yeah, at this point, Marcia, it doesn't have a replace sky like you do in something like Luminar or Photoshop now,
Right.
it has a replace sky.
Right. And there's the other pieces. There's some individual ones, which is Topaz mask. Back on again. Topaz mask is a masking program for photography, wherein you saw that on the website, but if we go in there, let's see if it runs up. Yeah. See if I have a picture for you. Oh yeah, let's go. All right, so this is keeping everything. And mask lets you do, I haven't worked with this enough yet, but because I do a lot of compositing and I'm in Photoshop with masks. But this does some really good work. If we, let's say, leave the green and mask out this picture. And where's my brush? Okay. Oh, AI. Let the AI do it. Okay. Blah, 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 da, 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 da. Just paint in there. I'll just compute the mask halfway. Oh, that's right. I have to do try map. Now I have to say, leave this stuff alone. I want the mountains there. And this is sloppy. You know, I ought to be, brush size is, this will let me do some very interesting, see that red set of lines with the brush? So you can be very, very, very fine with this. But I'm being gross. And that's that. Oh, we got that. We got this up here. And we're continuing to go. All right. So I got all three. Compute the mask. Okay, it's processing. It jumps up. You see that's not exactly the speed demon. And that's what we have. Now we could also do a translucent compute mask. It's going a little faster now. Not much difference. So when you want to do that right in here, if you got everything the way you wanted it, we can drop a sky in right in there. If we have a sky photo and composite it that way. That's the way I have to do it now. But in talking to the guys, they're gonna, you know, I gave them the suggestion of clicking these shut all at once. And then I also gave them the suggestion for skies. And they were very, very enthusiastic about it. So I think we'll see that. I'm going to quit this and not save anything. All right. Okay, so that I think concludes Topaz Studio. There's an awful lot. I mean, we'll get it. There's a deeper dive. But I would recommend you go to YouTube for Topaz. Topaz has a ton of video tutorials for you. And I follow them, and with some of my photos in instead of theirs, and it does some great stuff. So after tonight, go home, download the thing for free. I don't know. Oh, fine. And we can do that. I don't need my calendar right now. I just needed it before.
I just want, I'm sorry, were you finished, Frank?
Oh, I'm done, George. Go ahead.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wanted to let everyone know that there will not be an email sent after this meeting. However, in the chat, you will see the link for the survey. If you could please fill out the survey, just click on the link and it'll bring up the survey. So, because remember, we always need your feedback so that we can make things however you guys want them. Okay?
Absolutely.
So please make sure
Please.
you fill out that link that's in it. Click the link that's in the chat. Thanks.
Yeah, please be, be honest. I can take it. So now I was going to show you Gigapixel. And where's my little small guy? Okay. I'll double click this to pull up. This is the size. Okay. I think it's 300 or 200. Wait, with 200 by 229 pixels. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. Well, before I do, yeah, put it in there. And you'll notice this interface. I have it at scale because you want to keep it blocked that way. I have it at 6S. I haven't gotten any farther than 6. You can certainly go up to 140 times. Okay, but no. And the AI mode is standard for this, but because this is an architectural type of thing, I'm going to put it as an architectural. And then I'm going to say 6 times, and then I'm going to say save image. Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to do a little bit of noise suppression in there too. A little bit more. Save the image. And what it does is it saves the image and it adds gigapixel to the name so that it doesn't overwrite your original image. Okay, so all the images are processed. Now, close the panel.
Was
And
the
should see it here. Wait a minute, where did it save it?
was the
Okay,
picture?
right up here. What I said was 200 and 290 something is 1200 and 1362 pixels, 6 times what it was. Okay, the original is there and this is that. So let me do the view, the zoom.
Is the picture on the left the original picture and the one on the right is
yeah,
with
is
adjustment?
enlarged. It's a little bit better as far as I can see.
Yeah.
Then and it's now, instead of using that as an icon for your hard drive, you can use it as print it on a sweatshirt if you wanted to, because you got enough pixels to do that type of thing. You can make a billboard from a photo. And it's just been great for me because I it just works flawlessly. If I now, okay.
Yeah, you could take an iPhone, an older iPhone that produces small JPEGs.
Oh yeah. Oh, there it is.
Make a giant picture.
Here's what we have. And what I could do is, how do I do that in preview? I don't know. Oh, there. That's how far in you can get. And now you're starting to see this decay. So you have just incredible functioning. There's no, I don't really know. You can crop. You can do different. I wonder what art would do. Probably get sloppier around the edge. If I leave the noise in, it looks pretty good. If I take it completely out, you're sort of missing this brick wall, right? Because there should be a brick wall there. Okay. That's that one. Jeff, how much time we got left?
We can open up for questions and answers at this point.
Yeah, I
Frank,
think we
and
can.
go to Afterglow.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or answers for Frank on the software?
Oh,
I've got
nothing.
one. About how long does this take in general per photo?
Pardon me? How long does it take what?
Fooling around, yeah. I'm assuming that you're familiar with the program and you know roughly the kind of look you want. How long would it take you to make the adjustments?
That
Seconds
would
to minutes.
probably be difficult to answer, Susan.
Yeah,
because
it
you can-
would be anywhere from, I know the filter, click it, that'll make it look right. And if I adjust it a little bit, that's exactly what I want. You could do it that way if you know what you want. I prefer, the other thing that I like about Topaz Studio 2 is I invite serendipity. Okay, I really love discovering what I like without knowing ahead of time. And seeing that, and that lets me create new things, different things with photographs that I took pretty amateurishly.
So you'd
You
only
know,
do this on special photos. You wouldn't do it as a regular processing thing.
I could, yeah, I do some of the processing, but you know, frankly, as far as I'm concerned, Photos does that for me if I need to do that kind of processing. If I want to punch my picture up as it is, as the picture that it is, then anything works. And I can do it in this, and it'll be just as fast as doing it in photos, except it's 2 steps instead of 1. So
I think you do have an advantage here though, Frank, is that you could find how you want to adjust your image
yeah,
and create your own look. And then open up 10, 15, 20 images and just apply the look to all of them.
and there's that. Absolutely. Yeah.
But you can't do it as a batch. You can't select all 10 and say, apply this look to all 10.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, okay. That's a
What you
real
do is
fine
you
flavor.
save the look that you just created.
Yeah,
We'll call it Susan 1. All right. And that'll appear in my looks. So now you take this other, let's say you're away on a trip and you have a whole, 45 pictures of Pompeii, like me. and a lot of them are look the same. So you could take, but there are a lot of them are around the same area, but they all have different lighting, they have different angle, they have different stuff. But you do like the way that look looks on Pompeii. So you could take each picture and just add that look very easily in this program. Not so much, well, photos, doesn't photos allow you to do that too now?
No,
I thought you could save
I don't think you could save presets in photos. In Photoshop and Lightroom certainly, but
yeah,
I don't
but
think
not,
you can in
I thought
photos.
photos had it. They came up with it,
No.
but maybe not.
Susan, as far as I don't think Studio 2 itself has a way where you can say process a whole folder of pictures all at once.
No, that's not. in
Batch
there.
processing.
that's what I
But-
was asking. Yeah.
Yeah, but you could still very quickly apply a look to a whole bunch of images without having to, go through a lot of work.
Got it.
There are other applications such as Gigapixel, and some of the other ones do have batch processing capabilities where you can just say, I want to take this folder of 300 pictures, apply it to every one of them, and then walk away and let it do it. That has batch processing in it, but I
Yeah,
don't
and
think
I
Studio
think,
2 does yet.
Topaz Adjust AI, I think, has that too.
Yeah, I think there are other programs too.
Right.
Okay.
Sharpen
Thanks.
does,
That's what I needed to know.
and denoise does. Oh, and by the way, one thing I didn't show you is if you buy the other narrower applications like these, they wind up in Topaz Studio 2. Let's do this. Yeah, close. And if I do a page, open recent, fine, we'll do the sailing ship. Okay, what I can do is, what I can do by opening this up is filters, plugins. There's these down here on these. These are here as filters. So they put in those programs. Now, if I wanted to sharpen this with Sharpen AI, okay. Oh, I know how to do it already. Close. And that. Just generating a sharpening preview. See the difference? You see the sharpening of this, the masts?
Yeah.
What it did there, and some of the waves and the edges of the boat as they hit, as it contrasts with the water. Plus, you can also mask it. Okay. If I wanted to, let's see, remove some of the detail. Geez, why didn't that go away?
Well, you
Okay.
gotta apply the mask. That's okay.
I did, didn't I?
No, there was a button down at the bottom to apply it, but it probably wouldn't show up too much because the masking or the sharpening didn't affect that this much.
Right, right.
So you
So,
probably wouldn't see it.
Sharpness, noise suppression. You can do sharpen, but the other thing you can do in AI is focus. So if you have a picture that's blurry because you just have it off focus, then I don't think this is going to matter either, because I did a pretty good job with the focus. Or actually, my iPhone did a pretty good job with the focus. There. What's that look like? No, not too much. Well, anyway, that's some of the ancillaries that you can get in the cancel. That's some that you can get in the studio. And that's that.
Okay, if there aren't any other questions specifically about the Topaz software, we can open up to general questions or topics, anything anybody wants to talk about after glow time.
Well, I'd like to say something about a product. A friend passed away, and his wife had a picture of her husband and her and a bunch of people gathering in kind of a drinking party, but it was a great picture of his face. She had no other picture that had that warm smile. So she called me up and said, Jerry, can you do something for me? I've got enough to do to write the obituary. And so I took the picture, just a JPEG, and right behind his head was other people heads and everything. And I used the mask program.
AI mask.
AI mask. And within probably 3 minutes, I had a perfect picture of him, dropped in a black background. And all she wanted was a head, kind of a headshot. And it was perfect. It was so easy and perfect.
Right.
And so if you get any pictures, and you want to just make a picture of one person or two people, you can do that and take the background out, drop your own background in or color something. It's really great. Hair sticking out, you can get as you showed there, the results are just wonderful.
Yeah, it's just so much you can do with the software that's available today, especially if you shoot in RAW.
Oh, I got to stop this here. Sorry about that.
You stop the share, yeah. There you go. Has anybody thought while we were watching this about any new topics they would like to see covered in the photo SIG? Please speak up. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I have one. But
Okay.
first, to know from the other suggestions, have the previous meetings been about what people requested?
Have they been?
Mhm.
No, not in all cases. In some cases, like especially very early on, I was just trying to do, or we were trying to do presentations that would cover, what type of cameras are out there, what type of video cameras, just very general presentations. So we're past that kind of stuff, so we can move on to more specific topics that anybody might be interested in.
So you
Yeah.
have an expanding list of topics that people want, and you're going to start covering those?
Yeah,
If at all possible.
Okay. Mine suggestion is, if anybody has used any product type applications, say for instance, I saw one product photography, what I'm saying. I saw one where, you could take a picture of a product and say, like, I have a flag hanging on a closet door or whatever, and you can take and, white out the background so that you can't tell that there was a closet door back there. It would just look like the flag was, you know, suspended there
Sure.
or what.
yeah,
So,
that's what Jerry was talking about was mask.
Yeah, that's
uh,
that's masking, and that could be done in many different pieces of software. But that's a technique that we could actually show off how you would use something like Photoshop or Topaz Studio to do masking, and how that can benefit you,
Right.
why you would mask something, and how you would use that tool.
okay. Because my thing is like I need to take pictures of products and stuff that I've made, and I don't have any backgrounds, or if I do, say for instance, can you guys show how you can put a product on a green screen, and how could put, say, like some fabric in place of the green screen, or
Oh, sure. Yeah,
yeah.
my wife, Marcia, my wife was a gourd artist. She would make these, chip carved, color soaked gourd images in the gourds and sell the gourds as three-dimensional art. And so we made a website for her, and what I did is I took pictures of all the gourds, and we had it in the basement, and I had floor to ceiling paperback books up there and everything. So we took the pictures, and what I basically did was I just selected the gourd, and then I inverted the selection and deleted it, and I was able to put in a black background, a green background, a sky if you want, a tree with the gourd hanging from it if I felt like it. But I could, it helped with the website because the picture itself of the gourd was a lot smaller than the picture I took because I was only using a small amount of it. And so that's something we could definitely do. We can definitely show you how to mask and insert things. But if you're looking for apps that do that, we can also do that. I mean, there's plenty of apps that do masking and compositing. In fact, Affinity Photo does that, and that's a relatively inexpensive program.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking for a recommendation for an app, that I guess would be kind of easy to learn or whatever, and then also to learn how to do that, because it's like I've heard of green screening and that you should be able to, change the background and stuff, but I don't really know how to do it.
Okay, let me
We can
check
show up.
something out.
Yeah, I'd be very interested in having a session on learning how to mask and what you can do with masking, the advantages of it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
I've
Excellent.
got something I've been trying to do for a few years and haven't quite figured out how. I
Wow,
want to
easier
add
these days.
I want to add somebody to a photograph. I've got the photograph of the person. I've got the photograph of everybody else, except this one person wasn't there. And I'd like to figure out how to put him into it.
kind of like this.
Bernie.
Bernie. Yeah, that's masked out Bernie and just put him right into that scene. So you got like you got a family gathering and somebody wasn't there, or he's the
Exactly.
person taking the picture and he's not in the picture. So you want to put him in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So a demo on how to do that would be helpful to me.
Okay.
Okay,
That sounds
Yeah.
good. Does that
Sounds
sound
really
like it
good.
would interest anybody else out there?
Yeah.
I like
I see
I
some
need
head
help on masking.
nods.
I need help on masking, especially what Jerry was talking about, getting a photo, lifting a face out to help someone out, putting a black background back there, and then reasserting it, giving it to the widow, and everybody is happy, and you have a wonderful picture to go forward. Yeah, masking and layers. I'm so weak on layers.
Ditto. I could use help with that too.
I could use help with some layers.
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that, definitely. We're
I have
very
a-
familiar with it.
I have a really important question. It's the same question I ask over and over again. Jerry, you two can come in on this, and Davis, you might even come in on this too. George Cairn, who reviews the 12 Pro Maxes in Mac Life, says he went on about in the camera app on our Pro Maxes, either to use the JPEG or the HIEF Apple's thing, and he's serious about using one or the other because of certain artifacting and one or the other. And I just want to hear whatever. Jerry, what are you putting on? Davis, what are you putting yours on? Frank, what are you putting yours on? Are you using the JPEG or are you using Apple's proprietary setting?
Well, you're asking me. I was Larry at first, and I definitely went to the Apple format, which instead of being 8 bits is 10 bits, or 6 bits is 8 bits, and a smaller space to take up. I use it exclusively. And of course, I'm on the latest, greatest phone, the 12 Pro Max, and I love it. I would also down the road love to demonstrate a $1.99 application called Retouch, where you can remove things, you can remove power lines, you can easily take people out, you can use a clone tool. It's for $1.99, it's one heck of a deal.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. You like Retouch.
Yeah, Retouch.
I like what you showed also. Now going back to Mac Life magazine and George Cairns, who did a major investigation. He said he was concerned. He uses the Apple proprietary Pro RAW, which is the only RAW we have right now from Apple, and he has it on JPEG due to the fact that the Apple proprietary compression does artifacting. In other words, it as it compresses, it throws off bits and stuff like this. So he goes with either Pro RAW or JPEG format due to the fact that he believes that the HEIF, whatever it is it does artifacting in that compression, and he's worried about losing itsy bitsy stuff. And but anyway, that's what George Cairns says, and he's writing the reviews in Mac Life, not me.
Yeah,
You know,
any file format that does compression, and JPEG is a compressed file format.
Yes, it is.
Anything that does compression, you're gonna lose
Yes,
some
it is.
portion of the image. So it's possibility to get artifacting. Now, Pro RAW, being a raw image, it's not compressed, so you should have a much lower chance of getting any kind of artifacting in Pro RAW.
Yeah, the Pro RAW really does work. And the interesting thing about it, when you do on your big boy camera and you do RAW, it takes a little work to get it back to look like what a JPEG did originally. But with this Pro Raw, it takes very little because now the native camera edits are so darn good in both RAW, and then all of these other applications work. But I would be willing to demonstrate one of these. I could demonstrate the mask from Topaz and show some examples of what I've done. And it doesn't have to be a person. It could be a product, but I was under pressure. I hadn't used this, and I had to turn out something. I don't know, it was going to take me a day, and it took me 10 minutes. And that was kind of fun. So whatever you want or don't want.
Yeah, we could do that.
Any
I've
other
also-
ideas? We've got the consideration for masking. Any other thoughts about other processes? I heard about layers. That's masking and layers are kind of two different things, although you would use a mask to build compositing with layers.
Well, compositing too.
Okay.
All three things, I guess.
Well, it's
Yeah, I think that's
pretty
a
much one
pretty
topic.
good subject.
That's the third thing.
Yeah, compositing, absolutely, because there's a lot involved in it if you're going to do it right. If you're, what I mean by that is when you take two pictures and blend them together into so you can't tell, you got to look at how it's lit. You got to look at, what direction light is coming from, and all kinds of the color space of the one photograph needs to match as much as possible with the other. So it's some stuff to learn.
Yeah, we can cover that. That sounds like a good idea. It might, to cover all three of those topics in one meeting might take up the whole meeting, and we'll only be digging into it a little bit, but it would be a good introduction into masking, layers, and compositing. We can do that.
Oh, we've got 3 months worth of programs already.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, I mean, each thing should be a program. I think that would work.
We could.
The other thing, I have a lot of really cheap software programs that do these types of things with images that I can sort of research and do for you.
we don't want
cover-
anything. We want things inexpensive, but not cheap.
Okay, let me just say that the inexpensive programs are pretty good too. And I could do those because I'm a software junkie, and I wound up before, what is that thing that Dave is always asking us to do about where you subscribe to software? What's that subscription?
SetApp.
SetApp. Okay.
SetApp.
Before SetApp was invented, okay, there used to be these companies that had Mac software like bargain, for if you start with $5 and then you can take 7 apps, and they're only like $1 each or $1.50 each when they're really $29 or whatever they were. And I went nuts with that, and I bought a ton of stuff that was graphic oriented type of stuff. So I have a lot of that. And some of them work real. There's a masking program that it was like $1.50, and it works really good. Let me see if, no, that's not it. Oh.
I've got a couple of programs I bought that I've never used. And I wouldn't mind it if somebody would demonstrate what they're good for. One of them is Pixelmator and the other is InPaint.
Oh, I do InPaint.
So
In fact,
I wouldn't,
InPaint is a masking program.
okay, so that's something I would like demonstrated sometime.
Sure.
Pixelmator is another Photoshop knockoff,
Right.
just like Affinity Photo. So, once you learn Affinity Photo, Pixelmator, or Photoshop, and even part of some of the Topaz software, the functionality is the same in a lot of them. It's just the interface is a little bit different in
Right.
terminology.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with an image, you know?
So Frank, is Topaz considered like a mid-level, what I want to say, graphic adjusting program? How do you categorize it compared to like Photoshop and stuff?
Okay, Photoshop or Lightroom are, I think, have a sort of superior quality to the adjustments that they do. But Topaz Studio is, you know, they're right nipping at the heels of those two to do post-processing. Okay, it's about processing the photo after it's shot and doing it to get whatever effect that you want.
Mhm.
And combination of effects, which in turn are an effect, and applying that look or preset to different things. And that's what, I mean, Photoshop's starting to do that. The latest Photoshop has a few of those preset filters in them that do what basically Topaz does, but it's very, very sparse, and it isn't as good, actually, I think.
Yeah,
Topaz is the
in
rule.
comparison to the two applications, Photoshop is more for working on the photos or creating a photo from scratch, where you know, it has fantastic capabilities as far as masking, compositing, and layer work. Where Topaz Studio does not do any compositing. It's fantastic for artistic filtering, much better than what Photoshop can do. Photoshop
yeah.
has some effects. You can apply a water look or an oil painting look to an image, but not to the degree and level that you can in something like Topaz Studio. So
Mhm.
for more artistic look, you go to something like Topaz Studio. But for compositing and layering and other graphic type of images that you want to maybe create even from scratch, you would use Photoshop or something like Affinity Photo or even Pixelmator.
I'm sorry, I missed the beginning. So did you say Topaz is free, or is it just a 30-day trial that it's
No,
free?
it's try for free, and which means that whatever you wind up having will either have a Topaz watermark on it or something that wouldn't allow you to do it. As to the length of time you can use it, I don't know that there's any limit on it. But if
30,
you want
30
it,
days, 30
is it a
days.
30-day thing? Okay. So if you know you can carve out some time to play with it, Marcia, just download it and play and see and oh, go to YouTube where this presentation will be, but there will be about maybe 100 other presentations of something specific about Studio 2 that will teach you very well and very fast about getting that in your list of skills as a photographer.
So how much does it cost if you decide you want to buy it?
99 bucks.
And is it Mac only,
No, it's both.
iOS?
Marcia,
How often do they have sales?
Well,
Marcia,
you know, the holidays just passed.
Marcia, just for fun, why don't you send me one of your products and let me see what happens when I use the mask program on it, if that's what you want.
Okay.
Give me a couple days because I'm teaching tomorrow for a large group, and so I'll get to it by Friday or Saturday. But just send me one of your products, and I'll see if the masking is what you like.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any suggestions for future topics? Can almost have 3 months already, masking, layering, and compositing, but
Compositing, absolutely.
I can cover those, no problem. I do it all the time.
But not only Jeff and Frank and and Jerry, who are the three spokespeople so far in the club. Those of you who are here, if you would like to present something, we would love to have you. I mean, there's no prima donnas in our photography SIG. And we're more than happy to have you express some of the creativity that you've enjoyed and some of the things that you do, because that'll only enrich us and give us a little addition to our skills.
Maybe what we can do is that during the afterglow period, we can have a show and tell. You can show us off one of your pictures.
Yeah,
Everybody could bring a picture and just show us. How's that sound?
Sounds like fun.
You want to see a picture right now?
Sure, put it up there, Jerry. We know you got all kinds of them to show off.
Yeah, well, let me share the screen with me.
I'm showing off one behind me all the time, my background there.
yes.
Share the screen. Can I share the screen?
You should be
Yeah.
able to.
Okay. And let's go to desktop, share. Okay, photos.
Oh my God, Jerry. I like your wallpaper.
The desktop.
Mm.
Oh, let's see. Oh, it's further back this other way here. Just a second. Just a second. That's a panoramic out my front yard using the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And first of all, I aimed it straight ahead because that sun was blaring. And I took a reading about right in here. Just touched my finger on the screen.
Can't see
Took
what
it
you're doing.
off. And then I went from this wall of the house, and you hold the camera vertical, went to this wall. And I learned from Jack Davis, you don't have to reach down to the button. Just reverse the direction and it stops. And so as a result, the sun was not burned out. And that is totally amazing to me. Just amazing.
Why isn't the sun burned out? I don't quite follow that.
Well, if I just took this picture and did adjust for this sun here, it would just blow out the whole half of the picture.
Right.
But
So
it was
how did,
more important for me to control it. So I used a reading here for the light, then turn my camera to the side, hold it vertical, touch the go button, and then turned it with my fingertip on the top. I didn't turn, but just turned the camera on a nodal point and then turned it backwards, stopped it over here. And so I was able to have really good lighting. Now, if it was a sunset, I would monitor, I want that sunset. If the sunset was right here, I would touch that, and then everything else would be sidelined to that. Or here, I wanted this whole picture, I didn't want to be destroyed by that sun. The sun burned out, but I didn't want to destroy the whole picture.
okay, I think I've got it.
Yeah, so it's where you initially start your adjustment for the brightness on the photo. So wherever you touch first, you're grabbing that and you're adjusting the whole photo for that.
That's right.
Exposure.
That's right.
Snow produces a lot of glare. Any pointers on taking good snow pictures might help these days.
Yeah, and so you don't get the glare, and of course I can brighten the snow up. I left it the way it was. It's not. I don't like blue snow, but there was enough here. But panoramas can be fun. They really can. This is basically the same picture. I just made a few changes. There, I was crooked. You see how the houses aren't up straight? See that?
Horizon line.
Yeah. So that's why I had to do a little straightening. Of course, you can see a little of the ice from the roof here and the ice from the roof there.
Is that a car on the right that's covered up with snow?
Yep. Yep. That's a car on the right. Snow gets piled up pretty high. I'm showing you this because that's some of the things that you can do. Here's another thing I want to show you and find it here. Just a second. Oh yeah. See this picture right here?
Yeah.
That's with the night mode turned off on the 12 Pro Max. 11 Pro Max was pretty good, but the 12 with this LiDAR control they have, that's when you take a picture in the dark. With what's not in the dark, but it's over here. And now look at the picture here in the dark. Well, once it's going up, there. That's just on a different day, but that's the same darkness, but with the night mode turned on. Is that incredible?
Wow. Yeah.
That's the night mode turned on.
So
This
Jerry,
one's on,
explain
though.
how the night mode works. Explain what the camera's doing.
I'm not sure technically how it works, Jeff,
It's
but
It's
it's
working like HDR.
what happens. It sends out signals and actually measures. You could forget to point your finger on what you want to be sharpened, and it would pick things up. And so I don't have. I mean, I really have no noise in this picture, and this is a night picture, where normally you're going to get noise or grain and so forth. This
Yeah,
was a
especially in
different
the
time
shadows.
span, but it's just amazing what's happened. I think right now everybody's trying to reach the iPhone, and it's just this year they just jumped way ahead, way ahead. Just unbelievable. Um, I play around. Some of you talking about playing. Oop, didn't mean to do that. Throw this picture out here. I like to put textures in and different things. Not everybody likes it. Oh, by the way, see the tree? Do you have a large screen on? See the shoes hanging from the tree?
Oh yeah.
That's in an Amish area, and the Amish only go to school till 8th grade, and then they go to work. And if they don't like their old shoes, they tie them together and throw them in the tree, then get the horse and buggy and go. And so they call this an Amish shoe tree. It's a gravel road out in a spot in Indiana. They're funny people.
Nice
So are you
background.
using blending modes there, Jerry, to bring in the textures?
Yeah, I use Image Blender as one of the apps that I use, and I can just blend it in, and then I use the blending modes in that program, just like Frank was demonstrating with multiply, light mode, all the different modes and so forth. This was the original picture that I took, and so now I'm playing with it to give my own touch to it. Of course, there's Bernie.
There's Bernie.
Oh, yeah, this is the picture that I took at one of the last meetings we had, and showing the portrait mode, and then I made it into a high key photo. Isn't that incredible?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's just a little playtime. This is the Des Plaines River in infrared. Oh, come on. There we go. not a great picture, but it's an infrared. So black and white infrared by attaching an infrared filter onto my iPhone. And this is something that Jack Davis and Rad Drew have gotten me started in. It's not an expensive process at all. It's better when you have things. And this is the little tool that I've been using here. I like it better than some of the others. It's by the Moment Company. And this fits over, and then you just screw in an infrared filter. And then you can just use the regular edits in the native camera edit. Here's one, and I call this Nature Overtook My VW. And it's in Snapseed, there's a double exposure. Nobody uses it. I tried it, and it's worked pretty well. I blurred out my vanity license plate, but otherwise that's my VW parked in my garage, and then I blended it right in Snapseed, that free program. It's called double exposure. And you can put it in black and white if you want to. So I should really, so there's where the car was. And then I had, some other things going.
Gary, have you tried a grunge filter on it, the color ones?
I really should. This is my wife and I used to travel a lot in Europe, and this is on a riverboat trip in the rivers of Europe, early morning fog. And this is the original picture, pretty much shot on another camera in RAW. And then I've got, I don't want to get through too much of this stuff, or bore you.
Yeah, I think, well, we've hit the 8:30 mark.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
So-
if there's no more questions or suggestions for future topics, we can say thank you for coming.